Alrighty. Hello, everyone. It's been a second since I was last live. Let me post on Instagram really quick. Let everyone know I'm going live right now. You can see my phone. Going livid. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, that's as much fun as it is to watch me text. We're going to take a sip of water and then we're going to get into it. It's going to be a really fun live stream. I have a lot of stuff to go over. Not okay. There we go. Okay. So hopping right into it. The first thing in my notes is James Gunn. He had two announcements this week. The first one being the dynamic. Well, this is over again. This is covering the last 2 weeks, and even last week today I didn't have a chance to go to the comic shop, even though I desperately wanted to. I'm also not in my apartment currently because I'm house sitting for my parents. So we're going to go to deadline.com and I'm going to share my screen and we are going to talk about James Gunn's newest announcement. Well, second newest announcement for the DC universe. I think he's been really good about posting these. So I'm really excited to see what this entails. Share my screen right here. Share. I think you guys, you can see it. Okay. So, Deadline.com, the Robin's origin story dynamic duo in the works with DC Studios, James Gunn's label, WBPA, and 6th and Idaho. Movie to be made with puppetry animation. Now, let's see. Here's a really cool project that just got greenlit at DC Studios, Warner Brothers animation dynamic duo. Oh, what? Let's go to James Gunn's actual statement on the matter. Congratulations, you guys get all my political ads. Okay, so this is in conjunction with Matt Reeves as well. Okay, this is one of his, I believe, 6th in Idaho is his producer. Yeah. The storyline is not connected to Matt Reeves' The Batman and Penguin. Currently, we see that. Okay, where is... Literally, is that the article? Sorry if I'm like losing it. It literally didn't say anything about James Gunn's statement, which is so annoying. Okay, that is not... You guys can go to my Google search with me, okay? First one that you found. Here we go. Variety is probably better. Yeah, featuring Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Okay, so ahead of Creature Commandos, which debuts in literally just like a month and a half in December. First animated feature project, Dynamic Duo Pictures. Rather focused on Batman and Robin, the film will serve as an origin story for Robin and Robin, aka Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Oh my gosh, the guy who wrote Coco and Lightyear is writing the film, which is going to be produced by Matt Reeves' production company, 6th in Idaho, but the story will be separate from Reeves' ongoing Gothamverse of the Batman and the Penguin. It's going to depict how the friendship between Grayson and Todd as youth become tested by their diverging ideas for what their future should be. I don't know how much I buy into all this. Okay. Okay, yeah, the animation will be handled by New Orleans-based Waybox. Okay, respectively directing and producing. They literally just, nobody is quoting James Gunn's. Let's go to his Instagram then, okay? Everyone is annoying. Okay. Here we go. And Dynamic Duo right here. Over the moon, excited to announce the newest DC Studios Warner Brothers Pictures animated greenlit film for theaters, Dynamic Duo. The story of Robin, or should I say Robins, as in Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. The first feature film from the visionary Swaybox, a mix of animation, puppetry, and CGI. So I think that's really important to say for all of this, is that it's puppetry, it's animation, it's CGI, okay? This is something special. This is the only news that I'm taking from all of it, okay? Is that it, like, if you only need to be taking what James Gunn is saying, don't listen to any other source, because that's, like, he's the only one who's confirmed. And yeah, we've gotten a lot of speculation so far, but basically only listen to James Gunn, because he is the one confirming all things, and he's denying so many things that aren't true, which is super important as well. Let's keep looking on here for a second. Oh, this is cool. Lex is one of my favorites. Okay, what comic or arc inspires Lex Luthor depiction in upcoming Superman? Lex, one of my favorites. He works on so many levels. And okay, so some of the influences are, of course, All-Star Superman, Azzarello's Luthor, which I love that story. All-Star Superman again, the reckless scientific genius from the 1950s and 60s. Okay, that's All-Star Superman, Lex Luthor, which is a great story. I don't usually I'm not a huge fan of the Joker story by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, but I love the Luthor one. Look at, and this maniacal genius stuff, the death of Superman, Perry, Lois, Jimmy, all watching. Crazy. I love it. So, okay, that is what I wanted to cover. Whoa, wait. We need to add it back to the stage. We need to go back for a second, because I do want to touch on two others. Okay, who is this from Peacemaker? It's not sharing. Is this what people are trying? Is people saying it's Warlord? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. He's so good at social media. Here's the other news I didn't even put in my notes today to talk about. Aaron Pierre. Okay, casual comicer Alan told me to follow, or he's like, this is perfect casting, and go watch Rebel Ridge for that reason. That's perfect. He's correct. I totally see it. For those saying they don't see it, I'm just like, what are you talking about? I watched Rebel Ridge. It was so good. This is a great casting. Okay, Aaron Pierre, you're going to be so freaking great. I'm really excited. And then the other casting that he announced later, Kyle Chandler. Kyle Chandler from freaking Friday Night Lights is what I know him from, but he has a great resume of all this other stuff. So I'm really excited for both of them. I think everyone having an opinion on the Green Lanterns right now, I'm like, let's just watch. Let's stick around and wait for the freaking movie, and we'll find out if we like it. I'm like, what's most important to me about Hal and John is that they get good stories, okay? I don't quite feel that way about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker or Todd Phillips's Joker, because I don't think these guys are ashamed of their source material or their characters, okay? Like, this is straight up Gabriel Hardman from Green Lantern Earth 1, his art. Feel free to go check out the video for Green Lantern Earth 1 that I have reviewed. And I'm looking for book number 2, but I think it's been out of print for a hot second. So when I can revisit, I will. Let's see. Creature Commandos. I'm going to be doing a Sunday video talking about Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. So be on the lookout for that. They'll probably give us a Creature Commandos trailer. There's just going to be a lot. So Sunday night after the Penguin, I think I might move these streams to after them, so I don't feel pressed in the morning. And anyone who's over watching football and wants to talk comics, come hang out with me. It'll just give me a little bit more margin in my Sundays. But yeah, Creature Commandos trailer stuff coming out, New York Comic Con. Oh, okay. And here's something I wanted to talk about. Superman Krypto content. Krypto arrives on screens in Superman this summer. Krypto was inspired by our dog Ozu, who's featured right here. We adopted shortly after I started writing Superman. Ozu came from a hoarding situation in a backyard with 60 other dogs and never knew human beings. Was problematic to say the least. He immediately came in and destroyed our home and our shoes, our furniture. He even ate my laptop. It took a long time before he would even let us touch him. I remember thinking, gosh, how difficult would life be if Ozu had superpowers? And thus Krypto came into the script and changed the shape of the story as Ozu was changing my life. What better time to debut the not so good boy Krypto than Adopt a Dog Shelter Month? Adopt a shelter dog month. By the way, Ozu today is fairly often a very good boy. And then he has this image inspired by All-Star Superman, visually Krypto and Clark. And I think obviously this is not final how they're going to do it, but I think this is very much going to be a scene in the movie, and they're going to zoom out even more. Obviously it's not final production. They're going to zoom out and get this scope because he just understands that. Okay, that's what I have from James Gunn's Twitter. I'm really excited. Everyone who has an opinion on Krypto 2, I'm like, let's just see him. Like everyone having, this breed of fake dog, of alien dog. I'm like, get out of here. It doesn't matter. I'm just glad. Honestly, I'm just glad he's the same color. That's cute. But now we have Krypto the super dog. A character, like, when I'm critical about the comic book movies, and I think that the main conversation happening now is Hollywood and Warner Brothers afraid of the source material? Like, are they allergic to it? Are they ashamed by it? That's the thing James Gunn isn't. And I think Marvel also isn't. They're not ashamed. So I'm just really happy to see that kind of stuff moving forward. I think it's really cool. The next event I want to talk about is something coming up in the comic book scene in LA. It was announced that Revenge of Comic Shop, which is a comic and pinball shop. I'll show you guys. You guys can see there you go. It's a comic and pinball shop. You can see here's some interior photos, I guess. I've never been, so I don't know. Looks like they have beer too, which is tight. Yeah, a bunch of pinball machines. Yeah, super sick. And comics, as they should. This whole comic setup is also very, very cool. Wow, what a layout. I wonder how big this place is. Okay, it looks freaking huge. Very nice, though. Love the plants. I'm in Long Beach, so I'm not close to this, but they have an event coming up. It's the Revenge of Block Party. Yep, here you go. Okay, and this is actually taking place on my birthday, so I am going. And it's their second one. So as we look, Saturday, November 2nd, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Signings, meet and greets, live panels, live podcasts, food vendors. I'm really excited for this. 16 days. That's when I turn 30. So I'm already planning on going to brunch that morning, but then I saw this was going to be in LA, and so I'm going to go. Revenge of presents Comic Creators Block Party with Patton and Jordan. So hosted by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum. November 2nd. I can get an exclusive cover of Exorcism at 1600 Pen, written by our friend Hannah Rose May, with a cover design by Francisco Francavilla. Very cool. Let's see if we can watch this video. I haven't seen this.
And then it's all like BTS kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to like video from last season. And we're like, I don't know, should we like say their names or like there's a ton of people coming, and then we'll do like we'll roll the names like over the footage, that kind of thing.
Looks like he's wearing a Spectrograph shirt.
That's gonna take like I know
10 minutes.
Exactly.
People coming.
So it just rolls fast. Like,
there's 60 names coming. If we said each one in a second, which is not going to happen. It's like a block party.
Have it be crowded, but it doesn't feel crowded.
Yeah.
Nothing's rushed.
Yeah.
Everyone's just chilling out in the sun.
Because you
Right.
think it would be
Signing stuff.
crazy lines to see people.
We should emphasize the new names, like give them an extra pop.
And we got pizza.
How do we let people know we have pizza? When there's like little dancing pizzas.
If you
Yeah.
have dancing pizza graphics, I just don't want them covering my face.
Do that.
I have dignity.
That's
Oh,
fine.
again,
Yeah.
not that I would do it. It'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, come down to Creator Con and get some pizza. Like,
We're
again,
not doing that.
That's why you go on the internet to read.
Or maybe
Yeah.
even like a website that's like just for the con, and that can have all the info.
I know.
I'm
how
sure
to
we can-
direct
we
web
know a guy who
traffic,
knows a
my
guy.
friend.
All right, cool.
Little flames over the link.
That's cool. Okay, wait. Pause it. Pause it. Okay, let's just look at some of these names. Because it's insane, the amount of creators they got. And some of them I'm into and some of them I'm not. But let me just... It's so cool. Number one. Okay, Adam Rose. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Alex Kurtzman. Don't know who you are. Brian Bucalato. Great indie comics and DC writer. Wrote The Flash New 52. Brian Lynch. Brian Michael Bendis. You know who that is. That would be... He'll probably have the longest line in the entire world. But it's so cool. Brian Pizzane. I know who that is. Chris Yost. I know who that is. Cody Ziegler. You know who that is. David Desmalchian. David Pepos, Ed Luce, I know who that is. Gary Brown, Elliot Callan. Jeff Johns, I know who that is. Freaking A, man. Jeffrey Thorne, I've heard of him. Jerry Duggan, huge creator. Hannah Rose May, Heath Corson, Jack Foster, Jackson Lansing, very cool. Jennifer Rose. Jeremy Adams is going to be there, and Jeremy Adams is an absolute delight. I'm going to go there with the mission of asking him to be on my podcast. I freaking love that guy. I love Jeremy Adams. He's just, we became buds at Comic-Con. He's one of the nicest guys. Jodie Hauser, also really excited to see her. Joe Troman, Johnny Ryan, Jordan Blum, obviously. Jordan Morris. Josh Gad is going to be there. That's crazy. That is the voice of Olaf. Josh Trujillo, Leah Kilpatrick, Magenta, Mark Andreyko. Very cool that he's going to be there. Mark Bernardin of Fat Man on Batman fame, Fat Man Beyond with podcast with Kevin Smith. Really famous writer. Mark Wade, my literal favorite writer of all time. I love him. Maytal Jute, Mike McMahon. Don't know who these two are. Again, this is the craziest thing ever. Nicole Maines, actress extraordinaire. Olivia Quatero Briggs. Patrick Horvath, super famous right now. Patton Oswalt, obviously famous. Paul Dini, maybe the single greatest Batman writer of all time. Writer, showrunner, producer of Batman the Animated Series. Just animation legend. He's just a freaking hero. Pornsak Pichot. I don't know. They got this person got interviewed recently on Comic Book Couples Counseling. Rex Ogle. Rick Remender is going to be there. Rodney Barnes, who just came out with a Batman book today, is going to be there. Ryan Brown, Scott Koblish. I know who that is. Just like Tim Sheridan, crazy, just a crazy stacked lineup of some of the coolest creators of all time. And there's probably more. Full schedule coming soon. This is in 16 days. It's just nuts. Okay. There. Now you know my YouTube algorithm. I'm going to stay in the loop. Just, yeah, again, these crazy names. I'm sure there's going to be like a crazy line, but I told my girlfriend, I said, honey, this is where we're going. Okay, here you go. Here's everyone. Paul Dini, look how beautiful he is. David Smolchian, good luck getting something signed by him. Patrick Horvath, crazy awesome. Jerry Duggan, amazing. The Josh Gad. Jodie Hauser, awesome. Jeff Johns, look at this power stance. Just insane, man. Like a great networking event. Nicole Maines, so sweet. I met her at Comic-Con. I'm so excited for her. I kind of want to read her books coming out. Brian Pizzane, super famous. He looks so familiar. He's in stuff. Rick Remender, the most punk rock. Mark Wade, the love of my life. Tim Sheridan, amazing. Where's Jeremy Adams on here? They don't have his photo? They don't have his photo because they're afraid that we all will fall in love with Jeremy Adams. Yeah, it's just awesome, man. Like, I just feel so excited. Yeah, I'm stoked. That's going to be such a sick event. I will be there. Don't know what time. I won't be there the full time, but I will be there. So that is what's going on. And then I kind of want to spend some time talking about the brand new DC books, that the biggest, hottest DC books in the world. DC All In, number 1. Stay tuned. There will be a review of I have all my comics right here. Stay tuned. There will be a fat review of Absolute Power coming soon. I think that's coming in December with how I currently have my schedule laid out. For those wondering, a video did drop today. My review of, oh my gosh, Superman House of Brainiac. So an event that leads into Absolute Power. Absolute Power is coming. But let's talk DC All In. Huge book. Announced at Comic-Con, biggest push at Comic-Con. Okay, yeah. So front cover, Daniel Sampere. Sampere did both covers. So front cover, regular one. Back cover, Absolute Universe. That's kind of cool too. It's the Omega sign. Kind of looks like Green Lantern sign. Oh, hey, what's up, Beyond Comics? How's it going, man? DC All In was sick. We're just getting in to talk about it. Hello, sir. Glad you're here. So DC All In special. It starts. I read it with this side first, for those wondering. Just the freaking Batman. Basically, the cool part I like about this whole initiative, the DC All In initiative, is that they're really caring about both lines happening simultaneously. The first one being like Mark Waid, World's Finest line, was what I'm calling it. Basically, Mark Waid's DC universe with, Batman, World's Finest going on. You have the Batman Robin Year One title that came out today. You have all this stuff that isn't just DC. Like, it's not just Absolute Batman, which I appreciate. So yeah, so when it came to this, I was looking really forward to this. Daniel Sampere on art, just one of the most gorgeous artists of all time, going all around the DC universe, talking about the crises they've had. It also has like a focal point character of Booster Gold, which is so sick. I love Booster Gold. Yeah, it's Booster and Skeets, and they're in their modern costumes. I didn't know it, but Booster uses a Legionnaire flight ring, which is so sick. Legion of Superheroes. He has his own card. But yeah. And then it's all about them going to the Watchtower, which is basically where Absolute Power ends. Is, okay, we need the Justice League to return. So now going into it, they're setting up the all-in stuff where it's going to be the Justice League Unlimited. And that's what the title of the book is going to be, Justice League Unlimited. Dan Mora on art, Mark Waid writing, with every, you have the classic hits. It, on this cover, shows Captain Atom, which is so sick. I'm glad that he has a light to shine in this series. So yeah, I'm just, though, honestly, that's what I'm more excited about than Absolute Batman. I'm like really stoked on that issue, and we will talk about that next. But for right now, I thought that this was just an absolutely excellent, like, DC Rebirth-esque title. It reminded me of DC Rebirth #1, but not enough credit to Wes Craig. I don't think he blew up this book on his social medias. I saw like one post, but Wes Craig did the art for Deadly Class, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And I just loved it. So yeah, you have friggin' Wes Craig. You have all these people. Who colored this too? Wes Craig. Mike Spicer looks like colored this one, which checks out because of course Mike Spicer did. Yep, Mike Spicer did covers on the... Oh my gosh. RIP to Calabac. Spoilers. Sorry, guys. Highly recommend this. It's just really good. And like the biggest swing that happened in this issue, I'm going to go full spoilers. Sorry, guys. Biggest swing that happened in this issue was Darkseid merging with the Spectre, which I thought took so much freaking courage from DC because they never take swings like that. They build that up to an entire event book. That happened in a single issue. And the fact that that was part of his plan during the entire issue, like he wanted them to do that so that he could create his own world. Chef's kiss. Absolutely perfect. I'm just really, I am all in now. And honestly, I think DC's crushing with all the books they're pumping out. I thought this issue was so freaking sick. I loved it a ton. I think that, and I also think that all the all-in titles I've read so far have been really good. And I'm just excited to be a DC fan, which makes me really excited to go into what's going to be announced at New York Comic Con. Now we have all these number ones coming out this month. And so next, what's going to happen? You know, who knows? Okay, so then next up, we're going to talk about Absolute Batman, which gets his own time. A book that I literally did not think I would like at all. There it is. I really liked. Spoiler alert. So Scott Snyder was the one to get me into Batman, into pull lists at all. It was during right after his death of the family. It was Batman Endgame was the arc where I started my own pull list because I came back to comics after high school and college and I just wanted to read them. And then after that, I just never went back. So I've had a pull list since then, and it's only grown. But Absolute Batman is literally, I didn't think that it was something worth being excited about because I didn't love Scott's last Batman story, Batman Last Night on Earth. I thought it was just too much. But I think the story absolutely crushed it. And another huge highlight of it is that they didn't spoil it. They gave so much artwork away in this, but they didn't spoil it whatsoever at all. And so I just thought that when it comes to really freaking great Batman stories, they nailed it. I listened to Comic Pop today. He has a podcast called Off the Rack. Sal Crivelli, who actually recently wrote Terminator that I'm looking at, the number one. Sal Crivelli was talking that Scott Snyder wasn't intimidated. It was very much like, I'm Batman, I'm unapologetic. And I very much thought this was what that book was. And I thought Nick Dragata on art was a revelation. It terrified me so much. Like this whole hulking Batman. It's like, look at those thighs. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. But this book was such a breath of fresh air and such a nice surprise. I thought it was wonderful. I thought the last page was cool. I don't love it, but I'm glad it happened. So I thought that was really good. Nick Dragata's art, though, took it away. I think let's see if I can get some Nick Dragata art on here. Let me find Scott Snyder's Twitter because that's my favorite place to find art. Here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay. That's his New York Comic Con schedule. Stay tuned. Look at him. He's probably talking about Batman. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is in the first issue. It's so sick. Oh, no way. That's not in the first issue. That is a homage to John Romita Jr. and The Man Without Fear. Very cool. Let's see, Scott. See, literally this book. I almost just went to the comic shop today for this book. Batman and Robin Year One. It's so good. I haven't even read it, and it's so good. I thought this was coming out this week, but it's not. Absolute Superman. Okay, also, just look at this really quick. Okay, Bruno Redondo right here. Who's this? That's Nick Dragata, Bruno Redondo, Jorge Jimenez, Daniel Samper, and I don't know who these guys are. Sorry, but I love that. Look at how I love all my Spanish speakers in the big city. I'm so bummed I couldn't be there, but it's okay. I'm literally still financially recovering from Comic-Con. So this is just what happens. I'm going to Revenge of because that's going to be sick. Oh, I think I might pick this up. I'm low-key a distillery guy now. Okay, wait. Where is the art for this book? Also, can't wait for this. Hayden Sherman and Jordi Belair on colors. Are you kidding me? Absolute Wonder Woman. I literally just can't wait. I'm all in, man. Very cool. I thought he would post way more art. Might pick this up. I don't know anything about G.I. Joe, but I love Josh Williamson. I'm so sorry. I can't find any art because he's not posting it. He's just broadcasting everybody else's stuff, which is cool. But man, I don't know how much longer here. You know what? This is what we do. Here's what we do. Alfred and Absolute Batman. He's not wrong. Okay, that's funny. That's really funny. Okay, this cover's really good, but that second print cover, this one is absolutely ridiculous. I already bought it. I pre-ordered it on I think it's so good. Like, I also don't know why I'm the last person in the world who would like these spikes. I love them. I just love them. I couldn't picture myself being any further from the target audience for Absolute Batman. I love it. I just love it. And it's so cinematic. It's almost manga inspired, I thought. These panels too. Just ridiculous. I love the feeling of Gotham being so big. And it looks so good. Like these buildings, I don't know if that's Wayne Towers or what. No, they're not because he's not rich. Well, I loved those random huge skyscrapers. This double page was ridiculous and it was perfect and it set a perfect tone. And I don't know. I think this is when I realized I'm like, oh, Nick Dragato was perfect today. Like this was exactly perfectly who he is. Yeah, this. Are you kidding me? I love it. I like this is giving Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale in the best possible way. Like, and I used this image today. Great. And they sold all the interior pages for this issue already, which I didn't even look at the prices because I thought they'd be so much. Dan Mora getting in on the fun. Gorgeous. Look at this. This is what when this title was announced and I saw the first cover, this is basically what I saw. Like these spikes, the gnarly horn. I'm like, too much. Not my favorite, but I'm keep making art. But then this, I'm like, yeah, that's okay with me for no apparent reason. This cut too. It's such a nod to The Dark Knight Returns in the best possible way, and it's fearless and it's fresh and I love it. I love it. And then this one, here you go. Yeah, the comparisons to the Ultimate Universe are not lost on anyone. Ben Parker being alive, Martha being alive. I love it. It's just so good. So those are my thoughts. I can't wait to pick it up again. I'm in. I'm in on all the Absolute titles. I'm just so excited to read them. I thought this one was so freaking good. Yeah, I don't have enough positive things to say about this. I hope the issues remain this length because this was a huge issue with or it just felt like a lot of information to take in that wasn't spoiled to us. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. Okay, so let's get into what I got this week. So I got a big fat mail call in the last 2 weeks. I've been holding on to some issues for you. Let's see. I got to move some stuff around. First one being, actually, I want to talk about a prose book I got. So my birthday's coming up. I told you in 16 days. So I got myself my first birthday present, or a couple, and you'll see the other ones. I'll do a video on those. But the first thing I got, because he is potentially coming on, I've emailed him. He's emailed me back. He said he was busy, but reach back out. So I'm going to. The first book I got was How to Take Over the World by Ryan North. This is not a comic book. This is prose. Okay. So this is words with a lot of pictures in it, but it's just words on a page. And if you guys know, you're following, I'm currently reading Squirrel Girl, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl by him, Erica Henderson, and Derek Charm. And I'm reading his Fantastic Four, and I'm loving it. And I just think he's a really, really strong writer. And so when he wrote this book, when I talked to him at Comic-Con, I've heard interviews about this book. I decided that I want to check it out because he is so freaking smart. He's so smart. I think he's so interesting. And what it really is a straight up logistical take on how to take over the world. The chapter I'm on about 20% through the book. I found out after I bought it, it's available as an audiobook, which is exactly my luck. But basically, it's him talking about the feasible ways to take over the world. And the best part, my favorite part so far, and this is going to make me sound so dumb, the dedication page, or this one, it says, for Lex, Victor, Eric, and Dr. Isley. Those are all supervillains. It is for Lex Luthor, Victor Von Doom, who he declares is his favorite villain of all time, Eric Lencher, Magneto, and Dr. Pamela Isley, who is Poison Ivy. It's just so fun. It's just a nice, quick read, easy read. I usually listen to audiobooks at work, but it's actually pretty heady. It's a very smart book, and he's always been a very smart guy. So I just wanted to pick that up because I wanted to support him, and I wanted to, see what he had to say in a prose context. Okay, I need a sip of water. Give me a sec. I'm refreshed. Okay. Where were we? Okay, next up, I got a couple slabs, which is so sick. I'm not getting slabs. So I literally have 3 more slabs in the mail coming back to me. So these are like the last ones for a long time because I am just not made of money like I used to be because Comic-Con broke me. But I already posted this one. Thor number 337, first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Also known as the start of Walt Simonson's Thor run, one of the greatest Thor runs of all time. I love Beta Ray Bill. He's one of my favorite characters ever. And so when I see this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you. And so to get this signed by Simonson, who I think is one of the most influential Thor creators of all time, I just knew I needed it. So I'd already bought this issue on a spec, and then CGC hosted a signing. I believe it was at Rose City Comic Con. They hosted a signing with him, and I was like, I need to get it signed. So I got it. You can see his signature. It is right there on the cape. Yes, the big O is really all you need to see, and you'll know it's his. So got that 9.0. Which is a fine grade. I really don't care too much about the grade. I like that it's authenticated and signed now. And that is a book that's worth some money. And now, I don't know, investment went up, which is cool. But when it comes to my next lab, I don't think I really told anyone I was doing this. I dropped this off at Comic-Con. I think I mailed the Thor in. I don't remember. This one is a sketch variant. Amazing Spider-Man, number 850. Now with art by my favorite artist. This is my favorite comic book artist of all time. It is a Spider-Man by Lionel Francis Yu. There you go. Try and tilt it away from there. You go. Ridiculous. Because of his Spider-Man on the New Avengers, the New Avengers covers were my favorite. I think Superman Birthright is one of my favorite comics of all time. It's what seals the deal between him and Mark Waid and myself. I'm like, you guys are the best. But I love how he draws Spider-Man. So I asked for that. It's a 9.8, CGC 9.8, which doesn't matter in my opinion for a sketch cover. Because whatever it is, it's a sketch cover. But for me now, it's I have original art from Lionel Francis Yu, and that I'll never sell that. You want to see? Here's the pages that that inspired me. Let me pull him up on Twitter. No, I don't. Why do I use Twitter as a search engine when it's pretty garbage? Let's see. I think we're getting there. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the page. Look at this. Symbiote Spidey. I wanted eyeballs like that for my art, but I'm okay with what I got. He doesn't draw pupils on some people, and I just love it. It's so cool. There's so much going on. Look at that. That is, I could spend a long time looking at this. His shading, his emotion. He has characters that emote. And Clay and I were talking, Clay Mann, and he said, look at this. I remember losing my mind reading these as they were coming out and thinking, is anybody else seeing this? They were cranking out blockbusters every month. Just like one of the most ridiculous runs of all time. And now he only does covers. We can't get him to stick on interiors. Just absurd. He was on X-Men with Jonathan Hickman for a hot second. It's just so cool. I'm like overwhelmed. Clay said that nobody draws people with their mouths open anymore. So he wants to make an effort doing that. And now look at that. All those mouths open. So cool. The Secret Invasion is literally my favorite Marvel event of that time. Look at how cool his symbiote Spider-Man is with these eyeballs that go down to his chin. I'm obsessed, man. Those art pages are also for sale, and I don't think I can ever afford them. But there's nothing I want more. Let's see what people like. Every single piece he does is my favorite. You know what cover I have of his that's one of my absolute favorites of all time? He did a Daredevil number 7 variant during the Chip Zdarsky run. And I bought it because it's right here. Yeah, there you go, guys. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I'm accepting this for you. Look at that. Crazy Galactus. Insane. That's the Spidey I got. Looks familiar. Absolutely insane. Oh, and that Iron Man costume is like my favorite. It's just nuts, man. So there you go. So I got original art now by Lionel Francis Yu, which is one of the greatest joys, my greatest privileges of all time. I was like, I'm done with CGC. I'm done with CGC. And then that came out and I was like, I need it. And it was also not so expensive. That's like $200. But like, that's also why I haven't been buying omnibuses and like other stuff, because I'm like, I just can't afford it. I can't put that much on my credit card. There's really no reason. Okay. And that's what I have for my haul, because I didn't pick up my comics today. I'll have them hopefully all read. I think I will have them all read by Wednesday. I'll pick them up tomorrow. I like 10 books this week. More than I've had lately, but that's okay. But now let's get into the last 2 weeks, what I've read. I'm officially all caught up on my pull list, which is crazy. I haven't been all caught up on my pull list in at least a year, which frustrates me a lot. So now I'm all caught up. And let me talk to you guys about the first couple books I read. So I gave you Batman, Absolutely Batman, and DC All In. But now I'm going to talk to you about White Boat and Distillery for a second. I haven't read any Distillery books. Within my next, I'm going to start doing Friday videos. I dropped one of my big CGC haul, which has gotten a lot of views. Thank you to everyone who watched that video. But the next book, I'm picking up some DC books. So my next Friday video, or once I get back of my catalog, so Wednesdays will be comic book reviews, probably primarily Marvel DC. Then Fridays, if I don't have like a lifestyle, a comic CGC haul video, or I don't go to some super special event. I'm probably just going to do videos of like little indie comics that I don't think get a lot of traction, I don't think a lot of people are looking for that content. And I don't think that, I don't think a lot of people are looking for that content. And I don't know if, they care, but like, I feel sometimes like it's a waste if I'm reading comics and I'm not talking about them. Like if I'm not using that for the channel, because that's what this is all about. So now that I'm caught up on books, Fridays, if they're not for lifestyle stuff, they're going to be about indie comics because I love indie comics and I love reading them. So the perfect book that's an example that probably will be a Friday video is My Bad by Mark Russell and Peter Krause and Bryce Ingman. I also really here's the books that I'm wanting to read more than ever. Somna, which I have in single issues. I bought him, collected the whole series. I want Somna. And then I have all the Reckless Image Comics by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, Houses of the Unholy, and Where the Body Was. I want to read those so bad because they look so good. Probably when I finish How to Take Over the World, Friday video. So you can see that's my thought process where I'm like, I don't know if anyone's really caring about who read this and who talked about it, but like, I have thoughts about what I read. So here we are. Now for what I actually did read. I'm a distillery guy now. White Boat, #1. I thought this one was pretty all right. Francisco Francavilla is one of the best current artists. Just like when it comes to pulp comics, look no further. This isn't what I was expecting it was going to be, but like this one and the other book I read made me realize I really, really, really love horror comics. And I've been watching a bunch of horror movies for October with my girlfriend. We watched The Ritual. We've watched Scream. What else? I don't know. I know in my life I'm going to watch more horror movies with her. So that being the case, horror comics are like very nice because there's no jump scares, but they're like kind of like twisted, demented, dark. This one is really good. And like understanding that Scott Snyder comes from a place of horror. And that's what made him a great Batman writer, especially in like the Black Mirror. Seeing the Black Mirror team of him and Francisco Francavilla back together. And I know they did like Night of the Ghoul and like other stuff. I didn't read those, so I don't know. But I don't know how those were. Seeing this though, I'm like, it's really good to see them back together. Francisco Francavilla is a great artist. What the White Boat is really interesting. Tonally, the colors in this book are absolutely insane. Who is the colorist? Francisco Francavilla. I loved his color layouts. Interesting book. I'm probably not going to pick up #2, even though it's already out. I'll just wait for the trade or them all to collect it again, and then I'll read them like that. That was really fun, though. The next comic that knocked my absolute socks off, Spectrograph, #1. Amazing. This book I keep thinking about, which I never say. Christian Ward's art, amazing. So White Boat is kind of like about personal trauma. Like this dude straight up, let me give you a little brief run through. This dude, the main character in this book, was in a tragic boat accident where he lost his sibling. And so there's a little bit of survivor's guilt there. And he kind of gets invited onto this like fatty yacht. And then there are shenanigans. But it's also dealing about personal trauma. What are your biggest fears? All that stuff, which is cool and good and interesting to explore here. Very ominous book. Spectrograph is like, the pacing is insane. It's about this, like, it starts out it's this real estate agent who gets a listing, a great listing. She can't lose her job. She's trying to sell this big old mansion to basically this like rich cult leader who she doesn't know is a cult leader yet. and they get locked in this house. And the thing that really like elevated it for me is just this minor detail. The book opens up with her calling her friend and asking her to check in on her child that she left at home. She has like an infant at home in her baby seat, in the little baby seat, and she left the infant at home. But I can't go back now. I'm too far and I can't miss this listing. Can you check on my baby? No. So no matter what's happening in this book, there's this looming thing of there's an infant at home. What? And so then she like is trying to sell this home, tries to give a tour, and then shenanigans happen. But Tinian and Christian Ward on this book, absolutely amazing. Like, I think I will get issue number 2. That's how much I loved it. Like, these 2 books get me really excited for Distillery. My comic store is selling Gone by Jock. So I think I might go read that. They have all 3 issues. And I also think I might go read, I have Somna. And Somna is just getting all the awards. So I think I might go read those. They look really, really good. Okay, next up. Next up is actually a comic I picked up because I won an Eisner Award. And it looked really cool. And I just was drawn to it because I have a childlike sense of humor. And that is Pee Pee Poo Poo #1. Silly title. Insanely good book. Like, insanely good. It's by Caroline Cash. And this is very much, that's the back, very much like a pop culture comic cartoonist take. She's a lesbian that lives in Philly. And it's just about like her life and her quirky adventures. Like, just really cool page colors, layouts, so indie. A Tale of Who Will Hit on Ya at Tattooed Mom. What? Her talking about moving to Philly. The Philly comic scene, just like her being a lesbian, just in Philly. It wears its heart on its sleeve. It's so autobio. It's so much fun. Like, it reminded me in a really good way of It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth, which I think is one of the best. So Caroline Cash, that is like high up there. Those 3 books, I did not think I would like. They were at the bottom of my full list. I was not enthusiastic to read them. I didn't know what they entailed. Just read your comics, guys. #1 reminder. Just go read them. Okay, now I have the rest of my pull list, which is fat. Look at this. Oh, look at that. Look at my Justice League ID card. I'm a member. I'm a Justice League member. Okay. I bought this to support one of my favorite creators of all time. One of my favorite YouTubers, Sal Crivelli, Comic Pop, The Terminator #1. I have not seen The Terminator #1. I've only seen Judgment Day. Great freaking book. Written and drawn by Declan Shelby. With artist, written and cover artist is Declan Shelby. I was wrong. Written by Declan Shelby, art by Luke Sparrow and Colin Craker. Literally just one of the best opening pages and sequences. I think the idea in this book is that the Terminator is unstoppable, and that idea very much gets across, which is so cool. I don't know anything about the Terminator, but I liked it a lot. I'm probably not going to pick it up because literally DC and Marvel are just ravaging my pull list, but I read it and it's going to second print. But the backup is really Buried Alive by Sal Crivelli is the reason I picked this up. And that was also good, but they're only giving him the first 5 issues, 2 pages each issue to tell a full 10-page story, which is really hard. So good for them. Yeah, that's how I feel about that book. Next up, let's get into, we'll just go book by book. Now they're in no order. Those were all what I'd read before. Now we're going to go into what I'm reading. Fantastic Four, number 26. Really good horror book. Really fun horror book. You can pick up Fantastic Four by Ryan North at any given time. They're like 1 to maximum 2 issue stories. Really fun. And I listened to another interview. Ashcan Press, aka Matt Rosenberg, had Ryan North on his podcast to talk about this series. And really, North's goal is to put like bite-size like concepts, like just trying to do this in one issue, which I thought was so cool. Just tell stories in one issue. And like the reason that he shelved the kids for the first year of that book, which I was like, what? Yeah, why are you doing that? Is because he wants to be able to understand the characters and give them their distinct voices, and he can't do that with 9 characters. And so the way he's doing that is by pairing them up in each issue, and every issue is an adventure. And so when they all come together for once, it's going to be a really big deal. It was just such an interesting take, and I really liked it. And so reading that and seeing that dynamic at play here, like the narrative voice of Reed Richards as opposed to Johnny Storm is insane. The difference is so tangible there, and it's really good. Okay, next up is Batman The Long Halloween, Last Halloween #1. Good story. Eduardo Riso on the art, who just absolutely crushed. It's a love letter to, love letter to Tim Sale. I love the dynamic Jeff Loeb writes Batman and Robin with, which is good. Beautiful splash page right there for you. Chasing Catwoman through the city. Spoilers, they chase Catwoman. It's just really good. Like the Batman, Dick Grayson dynamic, all of it. Really good right here. Good book, but these ones just go by quick. It's going to be a new artist next month, which will be interesting, but these are all Tim Sale's favorite artists. So yeah, that's a good book. I'm excited to see where it goes. Excited to see. The rumor is that Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are going to go do a Batman book again. I don't know if I believe that, but I've been wrong before. Who knows? They could announce something this weekend. Next up, Exceptional X-Men #2. This series is so good. I am a Kitty Pryde fanboy, so to see this is so good. Like Eve Ewing, my first Eve Ewing title I've ever read, amazing. I'm like, this is low key, like my sleeper hit on all the X books, except Shelf X Factor. X Factor is my favorite book currently going. This one though, absolutely insane. Just like Eve Ewing really nails the Kitty Pryde voice, and Kitty Pryde's, her and Colossus are my favorite X people. They're crushing it. Next up, a book that I think is so criminally under the radar, Green Lantern Civil Corps Special. This is an all-in book by Jeremy Adams and Philip Kennedy Johnson, picking up after War Journal, Green Lantern War Journal by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I haven't read it, but that is one of the, it's like Somna. It's the Image titles by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, and War Journal by Green Lantern, or War Journal Green Lantern by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Those are my #1 wants to read right now. So this picks up in the middle, and this is going to shape the trajectory currently of the Green Lanterns. This cover is also not accurate. Like Kilowog's in there, yeah, but Far Sector Green Lantern not in there. Jessica Cruz, didn't see her. Sinestro with the red ring, didn't see that happen. So what did happen? Underrated book. I just love Jeremy Adams. I think he's such a good writer. He loves the medium so much. John Stewart, also great character. Oh yeah. Kilowog is in this book, but not in the ways you would expect. And that's all I have to say about that. Maybe that's a spoiler. Also, Jadestone from Absolute Power in this book. I don't know how or why, but I would love to talk to Jeremy Adams about what is it about Jadestone that you love? Alan Scott in this book. Carol Ferris has a really cool arc that's upcoming. I just love, like, I think everyone loves Iris. Everyone loves Lois. Everyone loves, like, there's distinct female characters like Black Canary. Carol Ferris is on that radar for me. I think, what's her face? Oh my gosh. Star Sapphire. Such a cool character. Like, she could be Catwoman. She could be like, she's up there for me, you know? Iris, I'm like, what? You're kind of boring. There, I said it. But Carol, you have powers. You are cool. So, like, Jeremy Adams recognizing that in this run has been, like, really important to me. And, like, I love that he recognizes that. So I appreciate it. This book was really good. Now that I skimmed through it again, it sets up a lot moving forward. And it's very literally Space Cop, Top Gun. It's awesome. It's just awesome. And one of the most underrated titles that they currently have. Speaking of underrated, I have a title that I don't think anyone's reading, but it's been a long time coming, and it's there's the next 2 books I'm just the most excited about. In all of DCLN. Action Comics by Mark Waid and Clayton Henry. We have a 12-issue weekly series. So 3 months of Superman Comics Weekly by Mark Waid and Clayton Henry. Mark Waid's favorite character is Superman, and now he's finally getting to write Superman in the ways that he wants. So we have the current. It's like, I'm so happy. We have World's Finest by Mark Waid currently going on. Justice League Unlimited by Mark Waid currently going on. Superman Last Days of Lex Luthor by Mark Waid currently going on. Action Comics Superman by Mark Waid and Clayton Henry. Mark Waid loves Superman so much, and he understands the character. Like, and if you don't know that, go read. If you want examples of that, go read Kingdom Come. Go read Superman Birthright. That's it. That's my Superman. How I see him. And when I talk about being afraid of the source material, Mark Waid also isn't. He's not insecure about DC Comics. He actually leans in and makes it make sense and makes it modern. And so that's what this book does, which I think is so cool. Like, the story's about the Phantom Zone. And if you see who else is on it, it's Mon-El. That is so cool. Yeah, it's weekly, so it's kind of a shorter issue. But there's a new one out this week. And so Superman needs to go into the Phantom Zone. And that's really kind of where it leaves off. It's a great Superman Jimmy Olsen interaction. Gnarly fight. It's just good. What's in the Phantom Zone? What's happening? How does Superman feel about it? That's the issue. And, like, my biggest fear is that he's going to get off the series in like 3 months. And I just want him to stay on and write all the Superman that he wants, because he is meant for DC Superman. So, and that's not to discount the run that I think Josh Williamson's writing. I think it's fine. It's great. Now that we're at Absolute Power, I'm really excited to see if something happened, but I thought his Absolute Power tie-ins were also wonderful. Speaking of Superman writers, Philip Kennedy Johnson. This book is going to be my pick of the week. This is my honorable mention. Honorable mention, pick of the week, Batman and Robin, number 14. If you guys like Philip Kennedy Johnson and you like the Superman run, Beyond Comics calling you out, you said that was one of your favorite Superman runs of all time. That he understands the Batman Damian dynamic right here. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. It's so good. And, like, literally the first pages, except for that, are absolutely action-packed. Batman and Robin fighting like they do in a high-speed car chase. It's so freaking sick. Literally, it's just awesome. And Batman trusts Damian. It's just them moving forward. Action-packed. And, like, I think also it's Javier Fernandez on the art. Ridiculous. Absolutely absurdly great artist for this book. I like Simone DeMeo. Wasn't my favorite artist, though, for that title. So this transition is exactly like the resuscitation I think this title needed. Philip Kennedy Johnson wants to be there, and he is. So, talk about another book I want to read, his Hulk. I just want to hop right in. Another indie comic that I took too long to read, so I'm not going to pick up the second issue, but I really, really liked. Helen of Windhorn #1 by Tom King and Bill Quisevely. This is the same team that did Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is a story about, I believe it is Arthur Conan Doyle's. It's not literally Arthur Conan Doyle's, but the creator of Conan, who is Arthur Conan Doyle. Let me get it right. Who created Conan? Conan the Barbarian. Oh my gosh, it's only giving me the film. Robert E. Howard. Okay, so I think it is Robert E. Howard. Sorry, I did find that out really quick. Oh, Beyond. Great. His Hulk run has been super good. It's like a sequel to Immortal. Okay, so now that it's over, I'll tell you right now, Beyond Comics, I'm going to go read Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk run. I'm going to go read Immortal Hulk first, I think, because I read the first 30 issues of that and I fell off. But it was really good. It was really great. And I just need more Hulk in my life. So, yeah. We're going to get you on here. Beyond Comics is going to be on the YouTube channel live one of these nights. And we're just going to talk about Philip Kennedy Johnson and all the good DC stuff. You're such a great fan. So thank you for the support. Back to Helen of Windhorn. So Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan, I believe famously committed suicide. And so this story is an homage to that, of not the suicide itself, but his family members. And it's kind of like the fantastical nature of all of that stuff going on from the perspective of an outsider. That's what this is about. And then it's all about like the mysticism, magic. Really good. And also, I think a great female protagonist. I had a hard time with Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow because the characterization of Supergirl, at least in the first issue of that book, when she's like getting drunk at the bar, that's not how I see Supergirl. So it was new to me. That was just new. But it makes sense. It like logically totally checks out. So them doing that with an original character, oddly, I'm totally in love with. So that's my problem, not theirs. That's a great run though. I think volume 1 of that trade I'm going to pick up and review because it's really good. And Tom King loves that book too. He's like really proud of it. Okay, next up, Daredevil #14 by Saladin Ahmed. And the art is by... Let's find out. It's not Aaron Cooter in this one. Luigi Zagaria. Jesus Aberdov of colors, and Clayton Cowell's the letterer. This one, okay, this Daredevil arc is really good. It's about... Oh, it's gnarly. It's kind of like the crime vacuum currently because the Kingpin is like healing himself. And so Daredevil's navigating that. I read this like 2 weeks ago, guys, so I couldn't tell you what's going on. It's good. I'm still subscribed to it. Let me catch up a little bit. Yeah, Matt's having a hard time because he's still Daredevil, but he's also still a priest, and he doesn't think he can do both. It's time for him to come back. He's helping a guy. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's pretty good. Pretty good, though. The art was really good. Even though it wasn't Aaron Cooter, I thought the art was really good. Okay. We got 3 more. X-Men by this is Jed McKay and Ryan Stegman. Quentin Quire, Psylocke story. Pretty cool. This came out 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, this one was really gnarly because it's a gnarly Quentin Quire story where he fights against friggin' Juggernaut. Super good. Cassandra Nova is the villain. It's just gnarly, man. Like, that's who it is. They fight. They go into someone's brain and like find out that Cassandra Nova's controlling them. Super gnarly. Excited to see. This is just fun. This is a fun run. I'm excited to keep going. My mind's getting all now you're seeing my mind's getting all scattered and bouncing around between all the X-Men titles because there's just so many. And I'm also reading everything else too. Batman All In, number 153. Excited that we are out of the failsafe run and into something else, a new villain. Jorge Jimenez, great artist, just crushing it. Chip Zdarsky's doing all right, but I just need something else from him. I don't blame him for failsafe going on so long. I think that DC saw that villain and saw the hype on that 5-issue run or like the first arc of failsafe and were like, we could use him. And then they kind of didn't do anything with him in Absolute Power. So, Mayor Nakano, Riddler starting a tech company. Awesome idea in this book. I loved it. Who is this new hero, though? What do they say his name is? And he's lethal. Commander Star. New villain with a gnarly costume. Look at that costume. There you go. Commander Star. I love Jorge Jimenez's art. This is a good, solid issue. I'm excited. I'm all in. I'm jumping on board for what's next. I'm excited for Chip Zdarsky. You know, this run deserves the praise that this Daredevil does, and I think it's going to age better than people think, in my opinion. Because they're solid arcs. Every arc's been solid. You know, he has some heavy hitters. He has Joker Year One. He has obviously the failsafe stuff. Dark Prisons is really cool. And the way it ties into Batman the Night. It's also really good. So, okay. Last issue I read, Absolute Power number 4. Pretty good. I'm going to do a longer review on this. So I'm just going to let you guys know I finished it. It's good. Everything wrapped up real nice. Oh, look what I'm facing on the back. There we go. Zdarsky Comic News. I thought this was really great. So I think that Absolute Power, just great. They tied it all up in a neat little bow. The only thing I'd say about this run that I think held it back, this arc, was that they moved past it right after they announced it. We're talking issue 2. DC was all about DCLN now. It's like, okay, yeah. Absolute Power number 1, you all bought it? Okay, cool. Now DCLN. After coming out of Absolute Power. So Absolute Power, you know, I needed them to care more about this run while it was happening. Or maybe at least make it like 2 more issues long. 4 issues was fine, but I could have used more. So, okay, that's what I have for you guys today. It's been about an hour 15 stream. I owed you a long one because I've been gone. There's so much news, and I'm going to be taking in comprehensive notes this weekend for New York City Comic-Con. And I also think I'm going to be back next Wednesday night with Kyle Rice. Currently in the schedule, we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four Life Story. So I will be back on a live stream with Kyle Rice. Did I say Kyle Rice, guest on the podcast? We're going to be talking Fantastic Four. So hopefully we can get in there. Yeah, that. And then next week's video, let me tell you what next week's video is going to be. I think I'm going to have something come out this Friday. I think next week's video in 7 days, I'm reviewing Batman and Robin by Josh Williamson. So Batman issues 1 through 13, going into everything before this new series starts. I have videos coming out through everything's uploaded through November 13th. And I know that I'm recorded through November. So I got stuff coming. Come by every Wednesday. I'll be around. I'm tweaking the live stream, but yeah, I'm really, really, really excited for what's coming down the pipe. Enthusiastic. Thank you to everyone who came and hung out and watched the stream. Big shout out to Beyond Comics. You are the man. We're going to coordinate to get you on here sometime because I want to hear your side of the mic. My name's Cameron. I don't just read comics. I love them. I'll see you guys next time.